Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had so many questions. How do I record an episode? Where do I find background music? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? Where do I find advertisers? The answer to every one of those questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. Let me tell y'all. Everybody keeps asking me, what do I do to podcast? I'm telling you, the answer is Anchor. They created my RSS feed. They gave me my first 2 sponsors that you're now hearing on this podcast. I want you to know that I believe in Anchor. I've grown with this platform since February, and I'm going to continuously grow with this platform. So if you always wanted to start a podcast, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Hello everyone, it's the 12th episode on the Walk by Faith Show. If you're tuning back into this episode, thank you. I'm so thankful for the support I'm receiving on social media and beyond. For my new listeners, the Walk by Faith podcast highlights minorities globally to provide them with tangible steps on how to start their business using local resources. Along the journey, entrepreneurs often get discouraged. So we end each podcast with stories of the power of faith and perseverance using biblical stories. Just to be able to have this mission has really shown me that anything that you make as a goal can be completed. And you must stay determined no matter where you're located and no matter what adversity you're facing. In fact, you will find that there are so many entrepreneurs everywhere just like you. And sometimes you have no idea who you're sitting next to on a train, who's in the car over from you while you're in traffic, or who is secretly plotting to take over the world by asking for nothing in return. This completely describes our next guest. She literally has a wonderful 9-to-5 that allows her to give back to all college students worldwide from 5 to 9 after work. So without further ado, let's welcome this week's guest, Miss Tiffannie Jones. Tiffanie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good today. Today's a wonderful day, and I'm really excited. It's my first podcast.
Yay! I love being people's first, whether it's through YouTube or through a podcast one, because when you blow up, I just get to brag that I knew you first, and I put you on the social media first, and I highlighted you first. It makes me feel good that I get to get you while maybe you're undiscovered, you know?
Exactly. But and I feel the same way, because when you blow up, I'll be like, oh, yes, I remember being on her podcast, and I was on the 12th episode, so I'll be able to do the same thing for you.
Yes, Tiffanie, thank you. So do you mind telling the Walk by Faith family who you are and what you do within the community?
Sure. So my name is Tiffannie Jones, and I am the founder of the JCS Project. And JCS stands for Just College Students. And what we do is we give out free college care packages here in Houston, and we basically cover Texas and other surrounding states as well. But we do a lot for the youth and everything, and by providing them with these free college care packages, we're basically giving them a source of encouragement while they're off at school.
Okay, Tiffanie. My next question for you, dear, is what is the JCS Project, and is this your first venture? I mean, let's really dive into what you're doing.
Okay. So basically, let me just kind of start with this. So the JCS Project, let's go back to how it started. What happened is, like, one day I got a phone call, and they were like, hey, Tiffanie, we're going to drop Taylor off at college. And I was like, huh? What? They're like, yeah, we're dropping Taylor off at Blinn. And I'm like, well, why would they be dropping Taylor off at Blinn? Like, she's 10 years old. And it's like, they're like, no, remember you went to her graduation, you went to her graduation party. Taylor's in college. And it just dawned on me like, wow, Taylor's in college. My little baby cousin, my first cousin, she's that old now that she's in college. Where did the time go? It's like I couldn't process it. I couldn't understand it. And even though I'm not her mother, it was just laid upon my heart. Like, I felt like it was my job. It was my duty to take care of her. And so I started making her and started sending her free college care packages. And then I thought about it, and I said, well, you know what? There's some coworker kids, and there's some kids from my church, and they're also in college. So, you know, let me make them some free college care packages as well. And so this organization really started with 5 girls. And what I would do is I would buy boxes, and every paycheck I would put items in these boxes. Snacks like ramen noodles, Capri Suns, Rice Krispie treats, fruit snacks. And then I would put a couple of personal items. You know, you had your hand sanitizer, your toothpaste, your toothbrush. And then we had, you know, like little other items. I always wrote them a little prayer, handwritten words of encouragement. And once the box got full, I would mail them off, or I would give it to the students who I saw at church on Sundays. And it just kind of took off from there. But I kind of felt like, you know, this whole thing that I was doing, I kind of felt like God had a calling on my life. And it was so weird for me to have this calling because I've never been to college myself. So being someone who's never been to college, I had to first figure out, well, what do college students need? You know, what do I put in these boxes? But after I Googled that and figured all that out and asked a few college kids, hey, what are you really looking for? It just became like, it's like it was meant for me to do this all along. And I was just able to jump into it. And starting off with 5 girls, we now have over 3,000 students, and we have now girls and boys that are part of the organization as well.
Okay. So that's a true testament to just how great you are, Tiffanie, literally starting off with your family and expanding it to strangers. I know that's how I met you. You literally posted me on Facebook and you're like, hey, the pretty plug, I got a gift for you. And I was like, what? Who is this lady? Why does she have my picture? Like, what is she doing? And then I was just like, wow, she really made me like such a nice graduation gift. And I was just like, oh my gosh, not only were you creative, but you were just a bomb.com when I met you. So it was just like, I had to stay in touch with you. I had to make sure I knew Tiffanie. I'm constantly supporting the JCS Project. So, I mean, what you're doing is so amazing, okay? It's so amazing.
Thank you.
And I wanted to go back. So I remember when we first talked, you said you were a workaholic, you're a mom. How are you balancing being a mother and potentially a workaholic while having a 9-to-5 job? How do you balance all of those things?
Well, I say, to be honest, sometimes I'm not even sure how I balance doing all the stuff I do because I basically work at my real job 7 days a week. So I don't even have off days. But when you have a passion for something and when you really love what you do, you will make time to do it. So even though I work and I'm a workaholic and I'm a perfectionist at everything I do, I still find time to do my organization. On top of that, my job is very aware of what I do and they support my organization as well. So they understand when I say, hey, I need to take this day off because I'm going to this college campus, or I need to take this weekend off because I'm traveling here. So they really work with me to allow me to be able to help college students. And, you know, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Like, okay, I might really want to, you know, watch Scandal on Thursday, but I can't because I need to make some packages, or I might have to sacrifice, you know, 1 hour of sleep or get up early for 2 hours, whatever the case may be, so that I can make sure that I'm getting the job done. You can always sleep later, you know, you can rest later, but I have to make sure that I stay on schedule. I have to make sure that I'm, you know, always doing what I need to be doing because a lot of people don't understand it. They might look at it as, oh, well, that's just a free college care package. But to me, it's my ministry. It's how I worship God because this is what he's called me to do, to help the youth. So anytime I'm making a package, it's how I worship him. It's me doing what he's called me to do, and it's how I have a relationship with him. So it's my way of praising him at the same time, blessing a college student. So all of that to me goes together.
Okay, and Tiffany, has it always been easy, balancing being a mom with this? I remember we talked, and you talked about some of the struggles of having this passion, having this ministry, having this avenue where it's not only a stress reliever, but it just gives you great gratitude for this world. How has it been balancing with your own kids? Because you give to kids everywhere. How are you also taking care of your kids at home? And what did you have to do to restructure that?
So when I first started the organization, I was so excited. I was so overwhelmed, and I was so passionate about it. And it put a smile on my face every day. And I just took off running with it. And when I took off running, I honestly left my children behind. I have a now 16-year-old and now 11-year-old. But, this was like 4 years ago, so they were, a little bit younger and everything. And so when they saw me doing something and they saw it taking up so much of my time, I mean, again, I already work a lot, and now I have this project I have going on. And when they got a hold of that, they kind of felt like, you're doing a lot, but none of this has anything to do with us. And I could tell that my kids started to resent the JCS Project. And they didn't like it when I first started. They didn't like it at all. And then I had to learn that, I can't have this special thing over here to the side and it be all by myself. I have to invite my children into what I'm doing. And so I started taking them to the stores with me, and I started taking them shopping with me to get stuff. And they started learning about each school. And I would say, okay, I need 4 for Prairie, so they knew to get 4 purple. I need 3 for Lamar. They knew to get 3 reds. And so I started involving them in what I do, and I started explaining to them what I do, and they started meeting some of the students that I'm helping. And once I invited them into it, that took a lot of stress and a lot of pressure off of me, because now I had my children helping me. So when I say, hey, y'all, I need to make 100 packages, my kids don't feel like, oh, man, they're not going to say that to me. They're going to say, oh, my mom needs to make 100 packages, and they're going to get in there with me and sit down with me, and they're going to help me to make those packages. And so now it becomes a family thing. So I get to still spend time with my kids, and I get to work inside of my organization with them helping me as well. And they understand that they are also a part of the organization. They can throw out their ideas. They can say, hey, Mom, have you ever thought about doing this? Or, hey, Mom, you should do this. Also, I bring my kids with me. When we go on different campuses and we go on college tours, I throw my kids on a JCS T-shirt, and we go out together, and they go on these campuses, they meet students, and I actually have them passing out packages to the students. So that makes them more involved in what I do. And now my son is 11 years old, and he can tell you more about JCS than I probably can. He tells everybody about it, and they have business cards that they pass out when they hear somebody say, I'm in college, or I have a child or a grandchild in college. They're quick to say, oh, well, you should sign up for my mom's organization, the JCS Project, and, oh, by the way, here's the business card.
Wow. So, Tiffany, you have single-handedly given your kids not only a legacy, but the avenue to make sure that they go to college. And because you have just given all of these kids not prizes, but gifts along the way, your kids going to be extra spoiled. They're going to have everything they need while they're in college. They're not going to have nothing to worry about. And I'm speaking that into existence now.
I know that's right.
Okay, so I want to go to the next question, which is, how long have you been doing this? And has your mission ever changed? And I want you to speak about how you get funding for all that you do, because it's expensive to provide free things to the community.
Yes. So as of August, the JCS Project will have been in existence for 4 years. So that's a long time to be taking care of college students. So I've been able to, work with some of these kids since their freshman year, and now they'll be getting ready to graduate in May and everything like that. So that's awesome right there by itself. So we've been doing it for 4 years, giving out school supplies, giving out snacks and gift cards and sending out prayers. And all this stuff that we do, it's a source of encouragement. It's like I tell kids all the time, it's one thing to go to college, but it's another thing to finish. And anything I can do, whether it be small or big, any package I can put together, any encouraging words or any prayer that I can send to that student to encourage them to finish school, to hang in there, to not give up. And I know it's stressful. I know it's hard. I know you're homesick, but just hang in there a little while longer and finish. That's exactly what the JCS Project is trying to do. To answer your other question about the funding, currently right now, I would say about 95% of the JCS Project is funded by me and the fact that I have a real job. When you're passionate about something that you do, you really don't worry about the money. I'm in a situation where I love what I do, and I love the students that I'm helping, and I have a personal relationship with a lot of the kids. So I don't have time to log into the JCS bank account and see how much money we have in there, because I can tell you now, we have nowhere near the amount of money for the idea that I have on my mind that I want to get accomplished. So there are times where I don't even look at the bank account. I just say, well, hey, this is what I want to do. We want to do 100 boxes this month. Let's do 100 boxes. And Tiffany just goes to Sam's, and I buy the items that I need. I go home and I make the packages, and that's just it. And that really doesn't bother me, because my organization, I tell people all the time, not only is it a Christian-based organization, but it's a faith-based organization. Do I have the money to fund this? In my opinion, no, I really don't. But yet my organization is funded. But yet I'm still able to do what I need to do. I'm still going on tour. I'm still giving out packages. I'm still doing everything I want to do inside of my organization without the funds. And I have a little saying that I say that, God is not checking your bank account. He's checking your faith account. When he calls you to do something, he wants to see, will you do it regardless if you don't have the money? Will you do it on a negative account? Because again, I look at my organization as how I serve him. So I can't tie my worship to him based on if I have money or not. My worship to him has to be, I worship him in good time and bad times, in negative account, or even when we have enough money to do things. So I don't really let that hinder me from doing anything. I appreciate and I accept any support that I get, but even when support does not come in, the JCS, we just keep going, and we keep going, and we keep going, and we keep blessing students. And I just feel like if I keep doing what I'm doing and I stay obedient to God, he'll come back around and he'll bless me to be able to do even more than what I'm already doing.
Exactly. And I know it's so funny that you say it's the faith account. Again, people think that when you build businesses, it's mutually exclusive from actually applying it to your faith in order to get something done. Because like you said, there's been multiple times where you just have to go into the faith account and then money has come later. And I think if we all operate in that way, where we just move when God says move, and not be so deterred because of what we don't have, we'll probably come out a lot better, and we'll probably be elevating a lot faster if we move based off our faith.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Exactly. And I wanted to touch on another point. Tiffanie, what do college students need? A lot of times you said you have to go research it. What are students dealing with while they're in college, so that it really brings about that conversation for anybody that may be a first-generational student, or even a parent that is about to have a child go to college for the first time. What is happening to a child when they go to college for the first time?
So when I first started, because I myself, because I've never been to college, I didn't really know what they needed when it came to me making these back-to-school college packages. So when I first started, I did Google, hey, what do you put in a college care package? But once my organization got up and running and I started to get to know students and I started to get to talk to them, I noticed that, in my opinion, one of the biggest things they need is snacks. A lot of parents have to understand, yes, they have these meal accounts and all that's great, but like the cafeteria closes at a certain time. So once the cafeteria is closed, your child can't go back in the cafeteria and say, oh, I'm still hungry, let me get something else. And then they run out of snacks and everything. in their rooms and everything like that. And then some kids don't have cars, or they don't have a bike, or they can just travel to the nearest McDonald's, Whataburger, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, or whatever. So having snacks in the room are like the best thing for them, because here's the thing. You might be trying to study, but if your stomach is growling, how can you really study? Are you really concentrating on what you need to be doing? No, you're not concentrating because you're hungry. But if you had a couple of snacks, if you had a granola bar and a Capri Sun, then that would help you out while you're studying. So one of the things they need is snacks. The other thing they need is they need encouragement. They need to know that you're rooting for them, that you're pushing for them, that you want them to succeed, that you want them to be successful, that you care about them. A lot of kids get homesick. I have seen kids go off to college, and then they stay for one semester, and then they say they're homesick, and they come back home. College can be stressful. I've seen kids that don't get a roommate, and they're by themselves. And so that whole thing of, I don't have a roommate, I'm by myself, I have nobody to talk to, that begins to take over. They have a lot of homework. They waited to the last minute to do assignments. So they're stressed out, but they just need to know, hey, it's okay. You can do this. Hang in there. Don't quit. I know it's going to be hard. You're not the only one in this position. There are other students that's going through the same thing. You just hang in there. You have our applause. We're rooting for you. You can do this. So they need that as well. The biggest thing I would say they need is love. And one thing I pride myself on is that when you get a package from JCS, you can tell that a lot of love went into making that package, because when you get it, it's 99% of the time it's catered to the school you go to. Like if you go to TSU, you're going to see your school logo all over your package so that you can tell that, hey, we know you go to TSU. We know what school you go to. We're paying attention. We're keeping up with what you're doing. So this package has TSU logo on it so that you can know that, hey, this package is catered directly for you. Students need to know that they're loved at all times. I don't have to physically be there to give you a hug or to tell you I love you, but you can tell when you get that package that somebody loves you. Not only do your family love you, your friends, your church family and all that, but there are strangers. There are people right here in Houston, Texas that helped me put these packages together, and you can tell that these strangers love you as well, and we're rooting for you and cheering for you to not only go to college but to finish, and you have our support.
Yes, Tiffany. When I tell you, I felt the love when you gave me my gift. I definitely felt that you took time to do it. And in fact, I want you to talk about that time you were in church and you had all these baskets that you had to create, and everybody looked at you like you were crazy. But just talk about some of the depth in which you're giving to these colleges, and like how many you're preparing at one time.
So for the biggest thing we did, and this was the idea that hit me like at the last minute, I was like, you know what, spring break is coming up, and I felt like that was a huge opportunity for me to not only give out a lot of packages, but also reach some students and some colleges that I might not have been able to reach anytime soon. So I had this great idea of finding 24 students at 24 different colleges all over the United States. But these were students that are from Houston. So what I did is that, we had a girl that goes to Jackson State. I have a girl that goes to Alabama State. I had a young man that goes to Texas Tech. I had a girl that goes to Tuskegee. So we had kids spread out all over the place. And of course, we had our, PV, we had our TSU, we had SFA, Sam Houston, things of that nature. But I found 24 kids. And I asked them, hey, if I give you a bag of packages, would you take these packages back to your campus and would you pass them out? And not only pass them out, can you get a picture of whoever you gave the package to and send that back to me so that I can show the people, hey, the JCS has landed in Tuskegee. The JCS has landed in Jackson. We've landed here. We landed there. So that people can know that the JCS project is spreading all over the United States, and we're catering to students that we might not have normally been able to reach on a daily basis, but we were able to catch them for spring break. and I ended up finding out that there were 45 kids from Howard here in Third Ward. They were helping to clean up the community, and I saw all these posts on Instagram. And once I found out that there were these kids from Howard here, I immediately started reaching out to people saying, hey, how can I get in touch with these kids? And, of course, I was able to get a contact person, and I showed up to where they were. And before they got on the bus to drive back to Howard, I was able to give 45 kids a free college care package. So they had snacks that they could eat on while they were on their bus ride, a 23-hour bus ride to be exact, all the way back to Howard. So we were able to touch a group of kids that I might not have, I don't think I'll have a chance to go to Howard for about a year or so. But I was able to send packages with them back to the school, and now they're able to tell their school, hey, y'all need to follow this lady, the JCS Project. She was able to do this for us. So there's a lot of times that I get the opportunity to bless students that I wouldn't always get a chance to meet or to touch. And that just warms my heart, especially with an organization that I'm trying to spread all over the United States and not just be here locally in Houston.
Okay. You know what? You're just a bad lady, Tiff. You are a bad lady.
Thank you.
So my next thing is, what are some of the events that you have put on? Because JCS is more than just handing people packets. You have a year-round calendar. So can you talk about that and how it's continuously expanding as you grow?
Yes, so we have about 5 events that we basically do all the time. One of the biggest events that we do is a scholarship breakfast, and it's held every January, and that's where I pick anywhere from 10 or more ambassadors. I pick one ambassador per campus, and that person is my go-to person for that school, and they are awarded with a scholarship. They get their free college care package, and, again, that's my contact person. So anytime I want to come to that school, or if they want me to come to their school, they're the person that gets me on that campus so that JCS can give out packages. So we also give out scholarships to ambassadors. In July, we always do our annual back-to-school college drive. I say this all the time. Everybody and their mama. Every organization in Houston, every church, everybody you can think of is going to do a back-to-school drive this summer. But those back-to-school drives, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're all catered to anywhere from pre-K to 12th grade. But what about the college students? Who's doing a back-to-school college drive? Who's giving out school supplies and personal items and snacks? Who's giving anything like that out to college students before they go off to school? The same way we do it for pre-K through 12, college students need the same kind of love as well. So I'm happy that it's like, okay, I saw a need for something. Let's fill that gap. Let's make sure that we also throw a back-to-school college drive, and let's make sure that our college students have their notebooks, their pens, their pencils. Let's make sure they have their snacks, their water, their things of that nature before they go off to school. So we always have that annual back-to-school college drive. And something new we just created this year, this school year, is we launched a JCS tour. Again, I'm always trying to hit schools that I don't normally hit. So we decided to go to a school every month, and every month we gave out 100 packages on each campus that we went to. And that has been an awesome thing, and we've been able to reach so many kids by doing that. And so new kids have been able to sign up for JCS and receive packages from us. Another thing that we do is we do packages over the Christmas break and now spring break, as well as one of my favorite things is that we also do contests. We'll have a best dressed prom contest, rep your college T-shirt contest, things of that nature where kids are able to submit a picture and they can win a gift card ranging anywhere from $25 to $100. So that's another thing that the JCS Project does outside of just the free college care packages.
Okay, Tiff. Like I said, you are a bad lady, year-round. So I got another question for you. You do have another venture that you started or that you helped to collab with other Black women, which was called the College Trio. Can you give me a little background on that and maybe tell like the journey of where it's going and how you're able to collaborate with other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing in a very unique way?
So, in my opinion, in the Black community, when you see another lady that's doing the same thing that you do, we tend to turn our nose up at that person like, oh, you do the same thing I do? Go over there. But we have to get out of that. We have to break out of that shell, break that mold of just because someone does the same thing that you do, that y'all cannot benefit from each other. Because I always tell people it's enough out here for everybody. Everybody can benefit, everybody can win. It's that much out here. So there's another young lady, her name is Lene, and she has an organization called Simply Helping Foundation. And one day we were at a college fair, and they put our tables next to each other. And I'm looking at her table. She's looking at my table. I give out free college care packages. She give out free college care packages. And we just kind of looking at each other, eyeing each other down. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, why would they put us next to each other? They should have put her on the other side of the room because we do the same thing. This is ridiculous. And so the college fair started, and I wanted to go over there and talk to her, but I had so many kids coming up to my table that I didn't get a chance to. And so what I noticed is that there were kids going to her table, and I overheard her say, hey, when you finish at my table, go to her table. She also gives out free college care packages. And once I heard her say that, I started saying, hey, when you finish at my table, go to her table. She also gives out free college care packages. And once we kind of got a break at the college fair, I leaned back and looked at her. She leaned back and looked at me, and we both at the same time said, hey, when this is finished, I want to talk to you. And now me and her go on tour together. So that little situation has helped both of our organizations evolve, because here's the good thing about it. Now we talk about partnerships. We do the same exact thing, but when I do it, I advertise it under the JCS Project. And when she does it, she advertises it under Simply Helping Foundation. But we're able to merge those two things together, which basically helps and benefits both of us, because when I say I'm making 100 college care packages, I'm able to split the cost in half, because technically she's making 50 of them and I'm making 50 of them. We're driving one car, we're going to one campus per month, and we're passing out packages. So what I first thought was a negative thing has ended up being a positive thing, and now I'm able to do even more than I would have been able to do, because I don't know if I would have been able to pull off 100 packages every month and everything. But now that I have help, now that I have a partner, now that I have a sister, you know, we're able to do those things together. And not only are we partners and sisters in business, but we also go to church together. I invite her to my church. She invites me to her church. So we also do things outside of our organization to keep our sisterhood together. And I say that to say there's nothing wrong with collaborating. There's nothing wrong with working with other people, whether they do the same thing you do, whether they do something similar to what you do, or even if they do the total opposite of what you do. There's nothing wrong with building a strong foundation of people that you have in your circle to help you in your industry and get the word out about what you're doing. And if anybody's going to help you financially, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So I love the fact that we have the college trio and that I'm able to partner with other organizations. There's also another lady. Her name is Miss Godiva, and the name of her organization is Paper Pencil Pens. And she gives out school supplies year-round to anybody K through college. And so she basically does the same thing that I do as well. You know, we're giving out school supplies. And so it's great to also have her as a part of our team. And she's able to say, you know, hey, Tiffanie, if you have any college students, please have them email me, and I'll make sure that I send them school supplies. She puts them in a box and she mails them to you. So that's a great collaboration that we have. And there are people that I would have never met, but Miss Godiva knows them. So when she sends out packages, she makes sure that she puts my business cards in there. And when I meet people, I make sure I put her business card in there. So we're getting the word out through 3 different organizations, whether I'm there with her or whether I'm not with her. Information about JCS is currently and always going out all around.
this is not the first time we've talked about it on the show about women supporting each other, especially Black women supporting each other, because we're leading in businesses, but you know what? We could probably cover even more ground if we collaborated together. So I love that you and the college trio is working together not only to just pass out more products and more treats and more things for college students at one time, but you're also showing unity. You're showing that I support you and you support me, and both of us, we're doing the same thing, but our mission is still the same, which is other people. When your mission is to serve others, there's no way you can be selfish in that.
Yes, I totally agree.
Okay. Yes. So I also want to talk about your daughter, Theory, and how she has, like, not only helped the JCS Project, but you also manage her in the Theory by Theory business. So I just want to talk about, like, your daughter one and how she built her craft and how you're facilitating that as her mother.
So basically, my daughter has been taking advanced art since she was in I would say, probably the 7th grade. She is a wonderful artist, and to be so young, she's only 16, she's very creative and everything. So another way I invited her into working with the JCS Project and making sure that she's always a part of everything that I do is I asked her to draw a lot of different college logos. And it ended up being a huge hit, and people start requesting them, asking, hey, can she make me one? Can she draw me one? I want one, I want one, I want one. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And so she's done a PB logo. She's done 2 for TSU. She's done a UTSA. She's done like a HBCU logo. She's done like a variety of colleges and a collage. I mean, she just has all these college logos that I got her to draw. And so I was telling her, you know, that she should auction them off. And we're coming up on her senior year of high school, and one of the things that she wants to do is at her graduation party, she actually wants to auction all of her artwork all the way from the 6th grade up until her senior year. And that's one of the ways that she's going to raise money for her while she's in college. So I have her drawing all kind of stuff right now to get her prepared for this auction, and everything that she's done for school, she's going to even include all of that in the auction. She has some of her artwork hanging she's had it hung up at the rodeo. There's like an emergency center that has her artwork on the wall. She's won ribbons and everything. I mean, she's just doing a great job. And as a parent, you always want to encourage your kids when they have a talent. You don't want to push them too much, but you want to push them enough. And so I make sure that I buy her art supplies and I buy her paint and everything she needs, and I just make sure that I encourage her with doing that. But I always try to ask her, you know, hey, you'll do another logo for me? She's like, Mom, I don't want to do any more logos. You know, I mean, she's really done about 20 for me. And I'm like, Theory, I just need for you to do one more logo. And I'm all excited because this Friday we did have a person to ask for a huge painting. It's the biggest one that she's ever done for someone else. And he asked for her to draw the TSU logo, and we're going to be dropping it off to him this Friday so that he can hang it in his office at TSU. So she's very excited about that, and this was her first paid job and everything. So she's tremendously excited, and as her parent, I just applaud her for what she's doing, and I just make sure that I keep pushing her in the right direction to keep that going and everything, and I try to encourage her as much as I can in her creativity to tell her, hey, you're 16 years old, but keep going, you got it, and you're doing a wonderful job with it.
Yes, and I love that, one, because your venture enabled your daughter to have a venture of her own where both of you guys are creating streams of income. And I think it's just so important for parents to not say, no, art isn't a thing, because we're from down south. You tell somebody you want to go to school for art, they going to look at you like you crazy because there's not a lot of money in it, or maybe they don't know how to make that venture possible. However, like, you come to the East Coast in New York, everybody an artist. I'm like, I'm scared at all the people that know how to draw here. I'm like, gosh. But it's just like, it sometimes depends on your location. And I feel like, one, so happy you're empowering theory. And two, like, if she ever wants to come to New York for an art show, I'm here. She can stay at my house, whatever. Send her up here. I'm always down to help, especially for her to see the art scene, not only in Texas, but her to see it from a very artistic point of view in other places of the world. So I'm always down to help, Tiffany. I just want to throw that out there.
And you know what? It's so funny because her dreams have been to, when I graduate high school, I want to move to New York. And I'm like, you want to move where? That's far. So, I mean, and to be honest, that's one of her graduation gifts. She's been to New York before, but I've never been. So we're actually going to New York together as a graduation gift. We're going to do a mother-daughter trip.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Let me get back to it. So, Tiffany, what is next for you? What are you working on? What is going, first off, do you ever plan to leave your 9 to 5? And if so, what will be your dreams following?
So, yes, I do want to leave my 9 to 5 at some point. After I train someone to do all the things that I do, then I'll feel comfortable leaving, like, okay, I can leave now. I have so many plans. I have so many ideas, and I have so many things that I want to do for college students and with the JCS Project. Just to name a few, I would love to get to a point in my organization to where I can go to a different campus every week. Like, I would love to be, at this school this week, then the next week I'm at this school. And I'm not just talking about schools right here in Houston. I'm not even talking about schools in Texas. I mean, I want to be all over the place, traveling and letting people all around the United States know that the JCS Project is here and what we do. I don't want to just do 100 packages every week. I want to be able to do 200 and 300 packages a week. And everything. And I know that if I work hard, if I stay consistent, and if I keep doing what I'm doing, I know that I am going to get to a place. I'm going to put that in the atmosphere. I will be at a place very soon where I can financially travel to a different college every week and pass out 200 to 300 packages per campus. So that is a huge idea that I want to do. The other thing is, with my organization, I've been able to meet a lot of college students, and I've been able to talk to them on a personal level. And I'm friends with a lot of them via social media. And around graduation time is when you see all of these wonderful, beautiful stories about how they didn't think they were going to make it. And now all of a sudden, they're about to graduate in 3 days. And they really just pour out from their hearts all the hard work and how the dedication, the late night studying and all that, how that all, finally came together and it finally worked for their good. And it's just the most beautiful stories I've ever seen in my life. And when I hear these stories, the first thing I think to myself is, other people need to know these stories. Other people need to hear this. Other students that are freshmen and sophomores and juniors, they need to know that, hey, there's someone else that identifies with you. And not only do they identify with you, they've been through where you are, but look where they are now. They're about to graduate in 3 days. So I'm also coming out with a magazine, a college-based magazine, where this is the voice. I'm just giving college students a voice. This is their words, not my words, but I'm just putting it all together in print so that you can see some of these amazing stories that college students have. And not all of them about graduation, but you have a lot of college students that are entrepreneurs. I mean, yourself included. I want to be able to give you a voice to say, hey, look at this young lady, the Pretty Plug. Look at what she's doing. Look at this podcast that she has and how she's spotlighting other people, but let's spotlight her for a second. So I want to be able to include all these college students in this magazine. Look at what all these young people are doing. People need to know about this. So I have a college magazine that's coming out. Another thing I want to do further down the line is, I feel like, there's a lot of stress, on college students or really grad students and everything like that. So I know a lot of grad students that, that are entrepreneurs and they have their own businesses. But I feel like wouldn't you benefit from, you don't have to worry about the light bill, the water bill, the cable bill. You don't have to worry about a roof being over your head. All you have to do is go to school and work on your business. Wouldn't you love that kind of luxury? So I would like to get to a place in my business where I'm able to afford housing a college student, a grad student, and I get to say to them, hey, you can come live in this house for free. We're not going to charge you anything. This is the JCS headquarters. You can live here rent-free, but you need to stay focused on your schooling, and you need to stay focused on your business that you started and everything. And that's all you have to do. And I want to have it to set up to where they can live with me for a year, and then the next student moves in and lives with me for a year. So this is like a free year that you get to focus on just your business and everything like that. So that's another thing that I have in the works for a couple of years down the line. But I mean, there's so many ideas I have. There's so many things I want to do, but everything I do goes back to helping others. Mostly college students, but still it goes back to, being a blessing to young people.
So, Tiffanie, that is awesome because a lot of times entrepreneurs, especially students in college, they can't even think about working on their business because they do have to worry about where's my food coming from, where's my lights coming from, where am I going to stay. I personally know many students that balance wanting to be an entrepreneur and not even having just like a place to stay because it is a sacrifice that you have to do. So I love that, Tiffanie, and your mission to just continuously give back to students in all shapes and forms. So one of my next questions, Tiff, is how did social media grow your platform? And I always want to give the audience something to take away. What did you do in order to grow your business, your platform on social media? What tips can you give to the audience?
So social media is like the biggest thing right now. Everybody's on social media. Now, I do have to say that Snapchat, I don't have that one. I don't have that one covered yet. My daughter's still trying to help me, but she really don't want to help me on that one. So that one I don't use that much. Twitter, I'm finally getting the hang of it. But Instagram and Facebook have been my biggest helps. And it's to be honest, it's one of those things where I noticed that you can't just post something one time and hope that people see it because with that algorithm, they just might not see it. So you do have to be, constantly posting, constantly letting people know. And social media has been a big help for me because it's like you find one college student and they're friends with 20 college students. So then you just request all those to be a friend. And then next thing you know, you build it up and now you have all these college students. And once they start to see what we're doing, then they tell someone or then they tag someone or if you say, hey, we're coming to PV, oh, they're going to let everybody at PV know, hey, the JCS Project is coming, tell a friend. And then we're able to get the word out. So it's one of those things, it's like word of mouth. But social media just helps it a little bit faster because they're able to share, they're able to click, they're able to tag, or comment or all those things. So social media has really helped the JCS Project out a lot. The fact that I'm able to post videos, pictures of the packages and actually able to interact with the students via social media, that just helps us even more with getting JCS out there on the map. Even if you're not locally here in Houston or in Texas, we're still able to connect with you and get the word out and let you know what the JCS Project does.
Okay. And Tiffanie, that's so great. And entrepreneurs out there, leverage social media. Don't let social media leverage you. Last question for tonight. Tiffanie, are you ready?
Yes.
What does walking by faith mean to you?
So walking by faith actually means a lot to me because I do it every day. And I can honestly say every day that I wake up, the first thing I think about is who am I going to bless today? How is God going to use me to bless somebody? And whether or not I give out a care package that particular day, there's so many other ways that you can bless students. I pray for students and all kind of things. And I really feel like my everyday walk not even speaking about JCS, but just speaking about me as an individual person, my everyday walk is walking by faith, because I honestly don't know how I'm able to do everything that I do and still sleep and still be a good mother and still be a good employee, and still be able to do all the other things that I do. But I'm able to do these things only through the grace of God. So I do have to say that every day I walk by faith as an individual, as a mother, as a Christian, and as the founder of an organization. Everything we do is faith-based, because I really don't have the time to do what I do. I don't have the funds to do it, but yet all of these things keep getting done because of my relationship with God. And if I didn't have that type of relationship with him, if I didn't trust him the way that I trust him, I wouldn't be able to get any of it done. And I have to say that no matter how good it sounds, what I do as far as the free college care packages and the campus tour and the magazine, no matter how good those things sound, I honestly can't take credit for none of it, because I have to say that if it wasn't for him using me and choosing me to do these things, that I would not be doing them. So I give all the glory to him. I give all the honor to him, because he chose me and he picked me to do these things, and it allows me to walk in my faith and walk with him daily.
Yes, Tiffany. And I got two Bible scriptures that just really tie in not only this entire theme, which is just giving, not only out of your heart, but just as a business model, just giving because, one, that's a great thing to do, but wanting nothing in return. So Philippians 4:19 says, and my God will meet all of your needs according to his glorious riches in Christ Jesus. So what I'm basically saying is that when you're in your college dorm room hungry, needing some noodles, needing some candy, needing something that keep you going, JCS Project is going to be right around the corner. I'm speaking into existence for all students that just need a care package just when they need it, right? And then the last scripture is Acts 20:35. In everything I did, I showed you that by this kind of hard work, we must help the weak. Remembering the words of Lord Jesus himself, it's more blessed to give than to receive. And you know what, Tiffany, you have just been a blessing to so many students. You are a blessing to me. You are a blessing to so many that just continue to not only receive the things that you're doing, but just to develop a model to give. And your motto and your life's purpose is just to give to those students that are just trying to make a better life for themselves than maybe what they had in the beginning. And I just want to thank you for coming on the show. You have been absolutely amazing. Okay? You have touched us. I love that I was able to highlight, what you do in the community, because it's important. It's important now more than anything. And you have just truly given the Walk by Faith family more insight about your organization and your business ventures. And you have a true heart to serve, and people need to know that. And they need to stay tuned for more to come from you, and they need to donate to the JCS Project. So do you mind telling us how we can donate and where we can find you?
Sure. So anyone who wants to donate, you can do that via the website. The website is the JCSproject.org. And just keep in mind that's JCS, just college students, project.org.
Okay, so you guys follow her on her website, all of her social medias, just to stay in contact with her and to see how her journey grows, because this is just 4 years in. Lord knows what she'll do in 8, 16, or 24. And I just want to say thank you guys for continuously tuning in to the podcast show. And this is all for today. Thank you and peace out.
See, I